we don't know the results. But I did not want to let another minute go by without thanking all of you. We know there's delays, but we know one thing. We are punching above our weight. My heart is full tonight. One, because I have my great chair here. Thank you, Andy McGuire. Two, because I have this fantastic staff that has stood with us all the time. And three, because my husband and daughter are here with me tonight. And I want to thank them. I want to thank our tireless field organizers, the unstoppable volunteers who would never give up. And we are feeling so good tonight. And I cannot wait. Somehow, some way, I'm going to get on a plane tonight to New Hampshire. And we are bringing this ticket to New Hampshire. So even in a crowded field of candidates, even during the well-earned impeachment hearing of Donald J. Trump, which kept me bolted to my Senate desk for the last 2 weeks, we kept fighting. And you kept fighting for me. We have started in a blizzard, and a lot of people didn't predict I'd finish that speech. That's what they were like, how could she do it? Then in the summer, they kept saying, is she going to make it through the summer? And then debate after debate after debate. And all I can say is we are here and we are strong. And with that same grit that got us through that blizzard, we are now ready to head to New Hampshire. And my friends here in Iowa, you know we have beaten the odds every step of the way. We have done it on the merits, we have done it with ideas, and we have done it with hard work. Because, thank you. We know in our hearts that in a democracy, it is not about the loudest voice or the biggest bank account. It is about the best idea, and it is about the person that can turn those ideas into action. We know that our party can't win big by trying to outdivide the divider-in-chief. We know that we win by bringing people with us instead of shutting them out. Donald Trump's worst nightmare is that the people in the middle, the people who have had enough of the name-calling and the mudslinging, have a candidate to vote for in November. Donald Trump's worst nightmare is that our fired-up Democrats will march to victory alongside a big coalition of independents and moderate Republicans that see this election just as we do. That this election is, yes, an economic check, but it also is a patriotic check. It is a decency check. It is the simple idea, it's a simple idea that the heart of America is so much bigger than the heart of this guy in the White House. Our country cannot take another 4 years of Donald Trump. Our collective sense of decency can't take another 4 years. The rule of law can't withstand another 4 years of a president that thinks he's above it. Our democracy cannot tolerate another 4 years of a president who wants to bulldoze right through it. The American dream cannot take another 4 years of a president who thinks he can choose who gets it. His playbook is not hard to understand. It is really 3 words: divide and demoralize. Well, I have a playbook that's 3 words: unite and lead. And that is what we need to do. That is how I have passed over 100 bills as the lead Democrat in the United States Senate, in the middle of that gridlock. And that is how I have won elections in the reddest of red congressional districts, in the bluest of blue congressional districts. The president, though, he might as well have a sign on his desk that says, "The buck stops anywhere but here." Look at what he has done. He blames everyone for our problems. He blames everyone, people that shouldn't be blamed. Who does he blame? He blames immigrants, right? He blames Barack Obama. He blames the Fed chair that he nominated, the energy secretary that he appointed, the generals that he commands, and yes, the King of Denmark. He even recently blamed Justin Trudeau for cutting him out of the Canadian version of Home Alone 2. Who does that? Who does that? So let me tell you what I will do. When I am behind that desk, I will take responsibility instead of passing it on. I will reach across the aisle and work with Americans in good faith. Instead of picking fights, I'll bring this country together instead of pushing it apart. Some of you may know that old story about Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And it was a story about how after he died, they put his body on a train and it worked its way to Washington, D.C. And there's a story of a reporter who came upon a man who was crying by the side of those tracks. And the man had his hat on his chest and he was sobbing. And the reporter looked at him and said, "Sir, do you know President Roosevelt? Did you know him?" And the man says, "No, I didn't know President Roosevelt, but he knew me. He knew me." And what we are missing so much right now in our country is that sense of empathy. We are missing that caring. And I promise you this, I will bring back that sacred trust between the American people and the President of the United States. If you are sick and tired of hearing how great the economy is when you don't feel it, when your paycheck is stretched to the breaking point month after month, I know you and I will fight for you. If you are sick of choosing between paying for daycare for your kids and long-term care for your parents, I know you and I will fight for you. If you're sick of being torn between filling a refrigerator and filling a prescription, I know you and I will fight for you. And if you want a Democratic nominee who can make our tent bigger and our coalition wider and our coattails longer, if you want that, I know you and I will fight for you. And if you are sick and tired of the extremes in our politics and the noise and the nonsense, you have a home with me. So please join our campaign at amyklobuchar.com. Join us because we are going to be here, it looks like, a really long time tonight. And you will have plenty of time to join us at amyklobuchar.com. So let's stay up, let's stay in a good spirit, because you all know what happened out there in those precincts. You know that we have been punching way beyond our weight. You know that despite some limited resources compared to some of those bigger bank accounts, we are way on the board. So let's stay up, let's stay happy, and let's head to New Hampshire. Thank you, Iowa. I love you. Guys, I want to thank, could you turn, we gotta go. Okay, guys, I want to thank one very special person. That is Lauren Dillon, our incredible state director. She's been good. She has literally, I like to say she's from Brooklyn, Iowa, and has been with us from the very beginning, has put together this incredible team, a happy team, and we have just had such an amazing time with all the volunteers. So I want to thank you, Lauren, for everything you've done. Thank you, man. All right. Okay. Okay, we can put the music back on.
Yeah, just again. Yeah, why not? All right.
And all those incredible people who hold public office in this state that endorsed us, and all the endorsers from all across the country, my colleagues in the Senate, in the House, and from the Vice Presidency, all of you, and all the people from Delaware, California, all the people came from all over to campaign here. I want to tell you. And most of all, I want to thank the Iowans that are here. Well, the Iowa Democratic Party is working to get this result, get them straight. And I want to make sure they're very careful in their deliberations. And indications are, from our indications, it's going to be close. We're going to walk out of here with our share of delegates. We don't know exactly what it is yet, but we feel good about where we are. And look, so it's on to New Hampshire, Nevada, South Carolina, and well beyond. We're in this for the long haul. And I want us to remember, not just tonight, but throughout this campaign, thank you. This isn't just another election. This is well beyond our party. This is about ending an era of, ending an era, God willing, of a president who, this is bigger than any of us. It really is. We cannot allow Donald Trump to be reelected to the United States presidency again. I'm ready to give him a new nickname. The former President Trump, Chris. The former President Trump. And folks, as I said, it's bigger than any candidate, bigger than any party, and folks, I said from the outset, Jill and I both said, we're in a battle for the soul of the nation. And that's not hyperbole. We really believe that, and I think it's been demonstrated every single hour he remains as President of the United States. Folks, each and every one of us knows that deep in our bones that everything this nation stands for is at stake. And I really mean it. 4 more years of Donald Trump will fundamentally alter the character of this nation. And character is on the ballot. That's what this is. Everything that makes America is at stake, and literally our democracy is at stake, in my view, our view. I say our view because you've been doing as hard as I have. Folks, I love her too, man. Well, I tell you what, and the other reason we're running and we're gonna make sure it happens is we got to rebuild the backbone of this country. The working class, the middle class, they've been getting laid out badly by this administration. The middle class is being hurt very badly. But look, you know what? We have to unify this country as well. Everybody understands that CEOs and Wall Street bankers didn't build America. Ordinary, hardworking people led by unions built America. Unions. And folks, we need a president who's not only ready to fight, but is also ready to heal this country. We can't hold grudges. We've got to be able to go out and unify the country, because the president is supposed to heal as well as fight. And that's exactly what I plan on doing, we plan on doing, all of us in this hall plan on doing. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, I'm going to go all over this country, every part of the Democratic Party, and unite it. Men, women, gay, straight, everyone, black, brown, a whole universe of people out there. Because folks, there's nothing we've ever failed at when we've tried to do it together. Nothing America's ever failed at. And so, ladies and gentlemen, all my friends, and by the way, I want to take a special thanks again to Alice Shapeberg and the firefighters. You've been incredible to us. You've been incredible to us. But folks, everybody knows who Donald Trump is. Well, it's fortunate they do know now. They didn't know last time, I don't think. But they know now. And folks, we got to let them know who we are. We choose hope over fear. We choose science over fiction. Unity over division. And compassion over cruelty. And maybe most importantly of all, truth over lies. Folks, we're going to do this. I promise you. I promise you we're going to get this done. And God willing, we'll do it together. May God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. On to New Hampshire.
And more than 2 million people waged a war to defeat the tyranny of slavery. And in the 1900s, people said we could never rescue our economy from the depths of the Great Depression or defeat fascism. But we forged a new deal. We mobilized to defeat fascism. We expanded unions. We built a middle class, and we marched for civil rights. Americans do big things. That's who we are. We don't settle. We don't back down. We meet big problems with even bigger solutions. So I'm here tonight because I believe that big dreams are still possible in America. Tonight, you showed that when you imagine an America that lives up to its ideals, you can set in motion the process of making it a reality. All it takes is some hard work and better connections. And here in Iowa, that's what happened. You came together You organized, you showed that we are united in our conviction that hope defeats fear, that courage overcomes cynicism, that we will always be a stronger party and a stronger nation when we unite around our shared values to advance justice and expand opportunity to everyone. So right now, across America, there are folks standing with groups of friends or sitting on the couch with loved ones or maybe even watching this quietly on their phones because everyone else in the house is asleep. Watching and thinking, maybe I could help out. Maybe I could volunteer some time. Maybe I could get in the fight. And that is how we're going to do this. I am here tonight to tell you, if you have hope that America can be better than it has been in these last few years, and if you have the courage to speak out and do a little organizing with us, then this campaign is for you. If you can imagine an America where corruption doesn't block our ability to reduce gun violence, an America where we can urgently tackle climate change, an America where we can bring an end to the opioid epidemic, then this campaign is for you. If you can imagine an economy where every job has dignity, where people are paid a livable wage, and where everyone has a real chance to thrive, then this campaign is for you. And if you can imagine a democracy where people, not money, come first, this campaign is for you. And if you can imagine an America of moral clarity that lives its values every day, then this campaign is for you. Tonight, we are one step closer to winning the fight for the America we imagine is possible. Tonight is for you. Tonight is for every volunteer who put their feet to the pavement to fight for change. It's for every organizer who braved the blistering cold to knock on doors. It's for every person who made a call or sent a text to spread the word. I'm going to tell you about some of our volunteers, because tonight is for the veteran who came back diagnosed with PTSD and who volunteered every week to help us become a nation that honors its promises to its veterans. Tonight is for every undocumented, unafraid organizer and volunteer who proudly knocked on doors to let the world know that the path to progress runs through courage, not fear. Tonight is for the innovative, persistent women who organize babysitting clubs so they could get in more hours of volunteering. And tonight is for the single mother who had been homeless and who was so determined that her twin daughters would grow up in a better world that she found the spare moments to make calls on our behalf. Tonight is for everyone who believes that no matter the color of your skin, who you love, how you worship, where you were born, or what zip code you live in, you should be safe and your opportunities should be pretty much as good as everyone else's. Yep. In every day and every way. This movement is made up of people who know that the only way to make progress and to build power is to fight from the heart. So tonight, Iowa, and all of you, I want to say thank you. Thank you for living your values. Thank you for standing together, fighting together, persisting together. You have made me a better candidate, and you will make me a better president.
I have a good feeling we're going to be doing very, very well here in Iowa. And the message that Iowa has sent to the nation, it's a message shared by the American people, is that we want a government that represents all of us, not just wealthy campaign contributors and the 1%. Tonight, in this enormously consequential 2020 election, the first state in the country has voted, and today marks the beginning of the end for Donald Trump. The most dangerous president in modern American history. You know, no matter what our political views may be, the people of America understand we cannot continue to have a president who is a pathological liar, who is corrupt, who does not understand our Constitution, and is trying to divide our people up based on the color of their skin, based on their religion, their sexual orientation, or where they were born. And all of that hatred, all of that divisiveness is going to end when together we are in the White House. We are going to win this election because the people of the United States are sick and tired of a massive level of income and wealth inequality. They don't want tax breaks for billionaires and cuts to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. The American people understand that if you work 40 hours a week, you should not live in poverty, and that we've got to raise that minimum wage to at least $15 an hour. The American people understand that health care is a human right, not a privilege. And that our administration is going to take on the greed and corruption of the insurance companies and the pharmaceutical industry. And whether they like it or not, we will pass a Medicare for all single-payer program. The American people understand that in the year 2020, all of our people, regardless of income, are entitled to get a higher education. And that is why, together, we will make public colleges and universities tuition-free, and why we will cancel all student debt in America, And we're going to do that through a modest tax on Wall Street speculation. 11 years ago, we bailed out the crooks on Wall Street. Now it is their time to help the middle class. And unlike the President of the United States, the American people understand that climate change is not a hoax, but is an existential threat to our country and the entire world. They understand that the time is now for us to take on the fossil fuel industry, to transform our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energies. And as President of the United States, because this is a global issue, not just an American issue, we are going to speak to the people in China and Russia and countries all over this world and say, maybe, just maybe, instead of spending $1.8 trillion a year on weapons of destruction designed to kill each other, maybe we should pool our resources and fight our common enemy, which is climate change. And the people of America know the time is long overdue for major reforms to a broken and racist criminal justice system. We're going to invest in our young people, in jobs and education, not more jails and incarceration. And the American people also understand that our immigration system is broken, and together we will pass comprehensive immigration reform and a path toward citizenship. And the American people know that gun safety legislation will be written by the American people, not the NRA. And the American people most certainly know that it is women who must control their own bodies, not politicians. So, brothers and sisters, yes, together we will defeat Donald Trump, but we're going to do more than that. Our message to Wall Street and the insurance companies and the drug companies and the fossil fuel industry and the military-industrial complex and the prison-industrial complex, our message to them is change is coming. Together with the strongest grassroots movement this country has ever seen, where we have knocked on hundreds of thousands of doors here in Iowa, we're doing it in New Hampshire. So let me conclude by thanking our great staff, our volunteers here in Iowa. And now it is on to New Hampshire, Nevada, South Carolina, California, and onward to victory. Thank you all very much.
go, baby. We go. Wow. Iowa! We taking it to the streets, baby. So, if we get the results tonight, and we are hoping to get the results tonight, Senator Sanders will come back out. Is that all right? But in the meantime, sisters and brothers of the great state of Iowa, I get by with a little help from my friends. Is that all right? I want to bring up to you one of our local state co-chairs, Deanna Langford.
Des Moines, what up? Yes. Y'all, look at all of us in this space right now. No, but really, like, look around you all. I see so many friends and family members in the audience, y'all. This is something that we have done together. Like, really, y'all, tonight we're going to send a message to the entire country. I could cry and I could get emotional because right now I just want to shout out, since we're in Iowa, I want to shout out all of the organizers on the ground. If y'all are in this space, y'all, we need to show them some love. All of our organizers who have been working tirelessly over the last several months, we see you. I know oftentimes, you know, we bring the national folks out. We're so thankful for everything that you do for this movement. But I know that in Iowa, the reason that we've knocked 500,000 doors is because y'all have been putting in the work. That happened here. And we should be so proud, y'all. I want to thank every person who has volunteered, who is not a paid staff member. Come on. Every person who has given of their time and their energy when you could be doing something else. Every volunteer that flew in from other places. Y'all done given your vacation days, your sick time to come because you believe so critically in the mission and the vision of what look, let me claim it, president, okay? Senator Bernie Sanders has to say, you all, we don't take that lightly. We know that what we're doing here is groundbreaking. And people often overlook the underdog, just like they've often overlooked Senator Bernie Sanders from the beginning. But what we are showing people is that a little state in the middle of the country that's often considered a flyover state, that's often considered only white. I see a lot of black and brown folks in here, I'm just saying. We exist. We are out here. What we have shown the entire country is that we like Bernie Sanders, and we believe in the vision that he has for this country. So just, you know, from somebody here who got invited to be a part of this movement, I just want to thank you all, like, because we did this together, and we're doing this together. And we are going to continue until we make Senator Bernie Sanders the next president of the United States. So thank you all. Thank you. Literally, thank you all for everything that you've been doing. Y'all, this is the beginning. These results are going to come in at some point. And in the meantime, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. So we just going to be patient, and we're going to wait, and then we're going to claim victory. Y'all ready? Iowa, y'all ready? Yes! All right, thank you all so much. So much.
Baby. Yeah, baby. Let's give it up for the Honorable Deanna Langford. Iowa, where you at, baby? Iowa, where you at, baby? Now, I just want to add a little something, if I might, on what Sister Langford had to say. Now, Senator Bernard Sanders may be 78 years old, but we about to make him 46. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Hello, somebody. Oh, yeah, number 46. That's what we are going to do, baby. That's what we've been working to do. So as Sister Langford laid out 500,000 doors knocked on in this great state because of people like you. But I got to bring, and it's not a but, and I got another friend. And he hails from the great state of California. One of the national co-chairs, my colleague, Congressman Ro Khanna.
Let's hear it for Nina Turner, the amazing Nina Turner. Thank you to everyone here from Iowa. Thank you to everyone here from across the country. Let's answer a question tonight. You know, when they ask what type of Democrat is Bernie Sanders, or can Bernie Sanders win, or can he build a coalition? Let me tell you very clearly what type of Democrat Bernie Sanders is. Bernie Sanders is an FDR Democrat. FDR was the most popular Democrat in the history of this country. He built the largest coalition in the history of this country. And that's what all of us are going to do again, to build a Democratic Party that's truly a progressive party. A party that stands for health care for all that we've been fighting for 75 years. A party that stands for the right of everyone to get a good paying job that we've been fighting for 75 years. A party that stands for every kid getting a decent education, something this party has been fighting for 75 years. Bernie Sanders is the most Democratic candidate in the race. He's reminding us about what our party has been fighting for since the New Deal. And he knows that we need less war and more peace. He's going to fulfill the ideals that FDR had of international cooperation, reaching out so that we can tackle the greatest threat facing our planet, climate change. And he has a vision. I see the Sunrise Movement here. He has a vision for the Green New Deal that are going to create thousands of jobs, not just in Iowa and across the Midwest and across the country, but is going to help save
good. How's everybody doing this evening? Woo! Are you ready to win the era? Woo! Now, before I start with my brief remarks, as you heard, there was, I think, some technological glitch in transmitting data from one place to the next. But I can tell you right now, if it was a broadband issue, under Pete Buttigieg's plan for rural America, we're going to take care of that broadband problem. So listen, Iowa, it's wonderful to be with you tonight to celebrate this movement that we have across the Hawkeye State and now is about to ripple across America. It's been so invigorating and encouraging watching you here in Iowa assume that important responsibility, a very difficult decision. You took it seriously, and tonight you got the job done. So recently I had an opportunity about 3 weeks ago to announce my endorsement for the next president of the United States, Pete Buttigieg. And just like you, I took that job, that responsibility seriously. In less than a year, we'll have the opportunity to choose the leader who will make us stronger at home and abroad. I spent 3 decades in uniform in the Army and the Army Reserve. I currently sit on the House Armed Services Committee. And I know that Pete brings a very deep intellect and experience, grounded in his time in a war zone. He understands the global challenges that we face. The lessons he took from Afghanistan shape his understanding of America's role in the world and make him uniquely suited for this moment. Pete will bring that same leadership to make us stronger here at home. For the past 8 years, he has stressed and steered a diverse, working-class industrial city into a brighter, more prosperous future. That would be South Bend, wouldn't it? South Bend, Indiana. A city that was written off years ago as dying, if not dead, today is striving. It is striving. And you're going to hear more about that from Gladys Muhammad. But what excites me greatly is that when it comes to advocating for and empowering communities of color, like the ones that I represent in Maryland, Pete made hard-fought progress in South Bend in the African-American community. But he understands that much more work remains, and there are no easy solutions to ingrained problems. I can't tell you how proud I am to join you, a movement across Iowa and America, a movement, people who are yearning for change, not that change that is rooted in Washington, but that change that is bubbling up in communities across America. And I'm honored tonight to introduce to you a longtime leader in South Bend. Some call her a living legend. She's a community leader, a civic activist, and when I asked Gladys Muhammad, well, tell me about the real Pete, she said, well, Pete, he's honest and he's cool. So I present to you Miss Muhammad.
Thank you, Congressman Brown. Hello, Iowa. This is the first time I've been here, and it's a warm, friendly place to be. I had a friend that used to tell stories, and one of her stories would be, looking good, you sure enough looking good. Good for Pete. My name is Gladys Muhammad, and I have 30 years of experience working in the neighborhoods, working with grassroots and grassroots to improve our communities. My role was coming up with strategies and activities to engage people in that process, to help them make decisions about their own lives and their own communities. Instead of complaining all the time, to come together and help do something for yourselves in our neighborhoods. Somewhere along the line, I met Pete Buttigieg. And Pete became my friend and my ally in working in the neighborhoods. We looked at issues of crime, drugs, violence, and all kinds of things, neighborhood revitalization, affordable housing, and all kinds of things that happen in neighborhoods all around this country. And Pete was there. I said, "Hey, Pete, you gonna help me?" And he said, "Yes, I am." I did not have to ask twice. People in South Bend and the national press have a narrative to say blacks in South Bend don't support Pete Buttigieg. Here I am, blackened and proud. With the Martin Luther King celebration every year for 8 years. This year he missed it, but guess what? We had 971 people at a breakfast. We had 111 tables. Pete is there every year. He just missed this year. But that's because he was campaigning in the Carolinas, a place he needed to be. Pete has changed street signs. We have a Martin Luther King Boulevard now running straight through the heart of town, not on a little block in the neighborhood. We have Black History programs where people who have not been recognized, that have had commitments to South Bend, Indiana, Pete has recognized those people. They've been on billboards throughout our city so that we know that African Americans in South Bend contribute to the life and success of our community. Pete Buttigieg did that. A couple years ago, Pete and his administration put $4 million into a center on the far west side of town called the Charles Black Recreation Center. I grew up in that center. When I grew up, it was a city dump. And now I'm so proud of that center. It's right there, look like all the cities, all the community recreation throughout the city, in the neighborhood, and I'm very proud of that. And to Pete, I didn't come here to disrespect any Democrats running to get in the White House. I came here to support Pete Buttigieg for the White House. Pete is the candidate for us to vote for, to occupy that White House. He has the skills, he has the courage, he has the integrity, and to run for that White House and win, and we need all of you to help him win. In the words of Ella Baker from Sweet Honey on the Rock, we who believe in freedom cannot rest until it's won. And Pete Buttigieg gonna help us win. When black people do what it is that they have to do, when discrimination is put behind us, we can win all over this country and take the White House back. again, that we blacks do love and we do support, and that is Pete Buttigieg.
Thank you. Thank you, Iowa. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What a night. Because tonight, an improbable hope became an undeniable reality. So we don't know all the results. But we know by the time it's all said and done, Iowa, you have shocked the nation. Because by all indications, we are going on to New Hampshire victorious. You know, 1 year ago, it was in the deep freeze of an Iowa January where we began this unlikely journey to win the American presidency. We weren't well known, but we had a new idea. The idea that at this moment when Washington has never felt further from our everyday lives, a middle-class mayor from the American Midwest could carry the voices of the American people all the way to the American Capitol and make sure they're actually heard. We had the belief that in the face of exhaustion and cynicism and division, in spite of every trampled norm and every poisonous tweet, that a rising majority of Americans was hungry for action and ready for new answers. We could see an American majority yearning for leadership to rally us together behind bold ideas to make a difference in our lives. We saw that Americans were ready to come together, but our politics were not. And to seize this moment, we needed a new path forward, a path that welcomed people instead of pushing them away, brought them together instead of driving them apart, because this is our best and maybe our last shot. We knew that with this American majority, we are on the cusp of changing the game for ordinary Americans, but that we could not win or govern if we wrote people off who didn't agree with us 100% of the time. But that if we could come together, the future that we know is possible would start on January 21st, 2021. Skeptics, an awful lot of skeptics, who said, not now, not this time. All this talk of belonging and of bridging divides is too naive, too risky. So tonight I say with a heart full of gratitude, Iowa, you have proved those skeptics wrong. By your effort, and it was by your effort, we brought together an extraordinary coalition of Americans, progressives, moderates, and that good number of what we like to call future former Republicans. And that's how we're going to win in November. Because it's about adding people to our cause, adding to our majority. That is how we will guarantee that on the day Donald Trump leaves office, we'll be ready to move America forward into the era that must come next. I want to thank every member of our campaign family, every organizer, every volunteer, every caucus goer who talked to a neighbor or a coworker, every staff member and every supporter who believed. And anyone who shares our vision can join the 750,000 grassroots supporters fueling our movement and chip in right now at PeteForAmerica.com. And while we're at it, I want to recognize a few other people who helped us get to this night. My mother, who not only helped raise me, but put her love of language to work answering letters sent to our campaign. My father, who left us just in the very early days of this journey, but whose own journey to this country made tonight possible in the first place. And to the love of my life, keeping my feet on the ground, how about a hand for the future First Gentleman of the United States? Let's hear it for Chester. also want to congratulate my fellow Democratic competitors in this diverse and formidable field. For months, we have been having an honest and respectful but vigorous debate about the course of our party and the future of this nation. And tonight, Iowa chose a new path. From river to river, in churches and community centers and high school gyms, you joined your neighbors to say that the time has come to turn the page and open up a new chapter in the American story. You chose to move on not just from the broken policies of these last few years, but the broken politics that got us here. And tomorrow, because of what we did here, the nation will have that choice too. We take our message onward to New Hampshire, which has a way of making up its own mind, to Nevada, to South Carolina, and beyond to every corner of America. And as we do, we will be building the movement that not only will win the election against Donald Trump, but win the era for our shared values. We have exactly one shot to defeat Donald Trump. And we're not going to do it by overreaching. We're not going to do it by division. We're not going to do it by saying it's my way or the highway. This is our shot, our only shot to galvanize an American majority to win. And make no mistake, ours is the campaign that will defeat this president. A president who cuts taxes for corporations while crushing the rights of workers to organize ought to have to compete with a middle-class mayor who entered politics fighting for auto workers and actually lives and works in the industrial Midwest. A president who tries to cloak himself and his wrongdoing in religion should have to debate a candidate not afraid to remind America that God does not belong to a political party. And a president who avoided serving when it was his turn should have to stand next to a veteran ready to show what troops deserve from a real commander-in-chief. Now, this president may get a pass on the floor of the Senate, but this November, the verdict will be up to us. And when I'm your nominee, we will win big enough to send not just Donald Trump's presidency, but Trumpism itself into the dustbin of history where it belongs. Something is stirring in America right now. You can feel it. We saw it tonight in the bluest counties and the reddest, in rural towns and industrial cities, in big communities and small, and the suburbs in between. We're seeing Democrats hungry to win, independent voters who had been turned off by our politics, Republicans tired of trying to look their kids in the eye and explain this presidency, all standing together. And all standing together to declare that we are defined not by who we voted for in the past, but by what we're voting for in the future. This is the coalition that no pundit saw coming. And it's the coalition the president won't see coming either. It's a majority we're assembling to agree not just on who we're against, but on what we are for. We are unifying a rising American majority ready to raise wages and empower workers in this fast-changing economy. A majority ready and determined to put an end to endless war. A majority committed to bringing about a day in America where your race has no bearing on your health, your wealth, your access to education, or your relationship with law enforcement. A majority of Americans ready to support our teachers with a president and a Secretary of Education who believe in public education. Those Americans are counting on us to come together and act, and they cannot wait. I've met Americans not even yet old enough to vote, but who know that we cannot wait. An 11-year-old asking how his family will be able to afford the insulin he needs. He can't wait for a president who will ensure there is no such thing as an uninsured American or an unaffordable prescription. The 14-year-old who let me know she's already written out a basic will because she's terrified the next day in school could be her last. Cannot wait for a president who will see to it that she can walk into her school free of fear. The 10-year-old who let me know he expects to be around in 2100 and look back at whether we acted fast enough to secure his future. He cannot wait for a president prepared to enlist every American in the fight for our climate. We are running for them. This campaign is giving voice to them, and it has room for everyone, because no matter who you voted for in elections past, and for that matter, no matter who you caucused for tonight, we welcome you in our campaign, and you belong in the future that we are building for America. Whether you're a young woman with autism in Muscatine or a veteran battling addiction in Claremont, you belong. Whether you clean hotel rooms in Las Vegas or are getting a new business up and running in Charleston, you belong. I believe the presidency has a purpose. And the purpose of our American presidency is not the glorification of the president. It is the unification and the empowerment to the American people to solve these big problems. America has a place for everyone. And I believe this not because of my age, but because of my experience. I believe in American unity because of my experience serving, of lacing up my boots in the dust of a war zone alongside Americans so different we hardly had anything in common besides a flag on our shoulders, yet learned to trust each other with our lives.
Thank you.
I believe in American boldness because of my experience governing, guiding a city once called dying out of the shadows of our empty factories and into a brighter future. And I believe in American belonging because of an experience you are part of right here tonight. Looking out at you and remembering how it felt to be an Indiana teenager, wondering if he would ever belong in this world. Wondering if something deep inside him meant that he would forever be an outsider, that he might never wear the uniform, never be accepted, never even know love. And now that same person is standing in front of you, a mayor, a veteran, happily married, and one step closer to becoming the next president of the United States. That is the America we are building. That is the America so many Iowans chose tonight. If you are ready to build an American life defined by belonging, this is our chance. If you're ready to build an American politics defined by boldness, this is our chance. And if you are ready to build an American future defined by unity in the face of our greatest challenges, this is our chance. So with hope in our hearts and fire in our bellies, we're going on to New Hampshire, on to the nomination, and on to chart a new course for this country that we love. Thank you. Thank you, Iowa. Thank you so much. Thank you.